Hey everyone, I'm very excited for today's video because I'm gonna be swatching all my Nabla single eyeshadows. I already had a couple, but then in the Black Friday sale by Nabla they had 50% off on all the single shadows, so I picked up a few more, and since I have a lot of their single shadows now, I thought it would be nice to swatch them all. So let's get into the swatches first, and then I will do a look with some of the single eyeshadows. So I have two little palettes here. I have one that has the special shades and also one bright shade. And I also have this one, and this also has some mattes and some of the bright metallics. So Nabla has a lot of different formulas. The most that I have here are the brights, and I have 5 celestial shades, and I also have some of the super mattes. They also have some satiny shades, and I think they also have some regular metallics. So I think I'm gonna first start with swatching this palette. I'm just gonna swatch them live on my arm first, and then I will show you a little bit more up close. So let's start with Mystic. This is like a light champagne-y mauve. So I hope you can see it well. I'm just gonna start swatching here. It's a really pretty pigmented metallic shade. I really enjoy wearing this one. I've had this for a bit longer and I've already worn it a few times. I really think it's very flattering and it's very nice for more neutral cool tone looks. The next one is this shade. It's called Capsize. It's a super matte and it's a medium toned mauve shade. It's really nice for in the crease. It really has this kind of gray base to it, and therefore it's kind of grungy. It's a really beautiful shade, really pigmented and very smooth and blendable. The next shade is this one called Entropy. It's like this kind of gray mauve with a little bit of taupe in it. This is one of the shades I didn't have before, so I'm really curious how this will swatch. It's a bit more brown than Mystic. I do think it's a really pretty shade. It also has quite a nice texture to it. I think if you love cool tones, then this is a very nice one. The next one is this one called Blue Velvet. It's like this very dark, kind of night blue, I would say. This is also one of the super matte formulas. Let's see. Also very nice and pigmented and very nice to deepen up a blue look. That's mainly why I bought this one, because I felt if I did blue looks I wanted more depth, and this one I can easily add to any blue look. The next one I'm going to swatch is this one called Ground State. It's like a little bit of a purpley mauve. Let's see, this one looks really nice. I really like this shade. It's really like this purpley but still muted tone. It's so easy for more everyday looks. I do feel like a lot of the Nabla singles are a little bit similar to each other. It would be nice if they would add some more colors to their range. The next one is this gray purple shade. It's a super matte and it's called Poetry. This is actually the first single I picked up by Nabla. I actually saw that they had this nude matte eyeshadow singles collection and I really loved the look of them and I just wanted to try some out. So this one is the first Nabla eyeshadow I ever tried. It's really like this gray purple, and I really like the shades for a more muted purple look. The next one is this one called Lotus. It's kind of like this lilac shade, but it has a lot of pink in it. It's a really warm toned lilac shade. Let's see, this is also one of the matte colors and it's one of the brighter ones that I have actually. I think it's a really pretty shade. I think it would work well with purples but also with pinks or reds. Then we go into the shade Verve. And this is also one of the shades from that nude matte collection. I think it's called the Feather Edition. And this is really like this warm toned, mid-toned pink. I think I would really love to wear this one in the summer and the spring. I think it would be beautiful for summery looks. Such a beautiful shade. The next one is this shade called Fahrenheit. And this is really like a blue toned red. And I don't feel like I have anything like this in my collection. I don't think I'm gonna be using it a whole lot. But I do think it's good that I have a red like this in my collection for if I want to do red looks. It's also a bit muted, So I think you could actually get some nude looks with this. It's not like super bright, but it is a very nice red. The last one from this palette is called Chattermark, and it's like this gunmetal gray blue shimmery eyeshadow. I think this one would be really beautiful to wear with more toned down blue looks, or maybe to even pair with grays or just really cool tones. I think it's a beautiful shade that could be more neutral or could be added to more colorful looks. So these are all the shades from this palette. I actually think the mattes swatched very well. They look very smooth, and I also really like how these shimmers look. I really enjoy Mystic, but I also like how Entropy looks, for example. I'm really excited to do some looks with these new colors. So let's do a close-up, and then I will go on to the smaller palette with the celestial shades. Now let's get on to the smaller palette. This is actually the one I'm most excited about, and these are the shades that I was most lusting after. These were the ones I thought, if there isn't a very good sale and I'm just gonna be picking up a few, it's probably gonna be these celestial shades. Because these shades are very shimmery, they have a lot of texture. They are really the special shades by Nabla. And I think you could compare them to eyeshadows from maybe Kaleidos, or I've heard they compare to the eyeshadows, the special eyeshadows by Pat McGrath. So that's why I was really interested to pick up some more of these. So the first shade in this palette that is a celestial shade is called Danae. And this is like a really warm toned bronze. It has some undertone of antique gold in it, I think. When you swatch it, it already feels very textured. You can really feel that this has a lot of those shimmer particles. So let's swatch it here. It's really like this warm bronze, like with a bit of an orangey undertone. You can really see the shimmer in it. The shimmer is kind of like this warm gold as well. I think this would be beautiful for more bronzy looks. Then we have this purple shade called Selfish. I'm really excited about this one. I think this looked so beautiful in swatches, and I was kind of looking for a glittery purple that had a bit of a gray base and then a purple shift. So I think this is gonna be so beautiful. So let's swatch it, and hopefully it's as I hoped. I haven't swatched it yet. Most of these shades I haven't swatched before, so it's also kind of like a first impression. This one also feels very textured in the pan. Oh, it looks so beautiful. It's so pretty. Look at this. It already looks so beautiful on my finger, like so textured, and the shift is gorgeous. I think this is my favorite so far. I don't know if anything can top this. So let's swatch it. Ooh, that is so beautiful. Look at that. It's so pigmented, and the purple shift is gorgeous. On the website it says that it kind of has this teal base, but I would say it's like a dark gray with a little bit of a green undertone. So if you're not into greens and you read on the website it has a green base, I wouldn't be afraid of it. I don't think the green base is that clear. The next shade over here is called Alchemy. I feel like this is really the Nabla classic. Everyone, I feel, already has this shade or wants this shade. It's like one of the most special shades Nabla has. And it's kind of like this, I would say, purpley red berry undertone. And then it has a really strong teal blue shift. You can see it on my finger. It has a really strong shift, but you can definitely see the base. If I hold it like this, it's really like this red, brown, purpley shade. And then when I hold it like this, you can really see the blue in there. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of really grungy shades, but I have the Nabla Wild Berry palette, and that one has Alchemy 2.0. And I really fell in love with that shade, so I was like, I have to give this one a chance. And I do think it looks really beautiful. In this light it looks kind of pink, like the base is quite warm pink, like warm berry pink. And then with a lot of blue shimmer all throughout it. Yes, I do think it's a really pretty shade. I would love to pair this with some pinks or reds, or maybe or maybe even some mauves and make it a bit more natural. I think it would be really fun to see how this works together with other shades. This next one is called Calypso. This is not actually one of the special shades. This is a bright metallic, but I just put it in here because I still had room and I only have 5 of the special shades. And this is a bit the shimmery version of Lotus. It's like this really pink, really warm lilac eyeshadow. So this is a lot more smooth than the celestial shades. Let me see. I feel like it still has a really beautiful texture and I really love the color, like this warm tone purple. I think you could get really beautiful warm tone purple looks, but also you could pair it easily with pinks. I feel like this is a very beautiful, colorful shade that is still quite wearable. So the next one is Water Dream. I've actually had this for a little while now, I think a little over a month. And this is a really beautiful topper shade with quite of a sheer base. And then the shimmer is like this light champagne-y tone. This is such a beautiful shade to just pop over a metallic and just make your look a little bit more festive and a little bit more textured. So I will swatch it over here. It's like this really beautiful glittery eyeshadow, but it is quite sheared. So you're not gonna have a lot of pigment with this. I wouldn't really recommend using it on its own, but it does have a lot of texture and a lot of shimmer. Just look at it on my finger. You can really see when you apply this to your eye, you really get this beautiful shimmery effect. I actually don't know how to pronounce the name of this one. I think it's called like Nereide. And it's like this dark neutral gray tone. And this is also one of the celestial shades. I think this one would be beautiful for a more smoky eye. I think it would also pair beautiful with some of the grays in the new Nabla Side by Side Nude eyeshadow palette. It has still a little bit of a brownie taupey base, I would say. So it's still very wearable. It's not too cool toned gray. It's really neutral. So let's get into the close-ups and then I will do a look with some of these shades. So those were all the swatches. I'm really torn on what I should use. I feel like I want to use them all right now. And it's really tempting to just go for the cool tone smoky eye. But I feel like I've done a lot of those recently. So I kind of want to play with some color. I think I'm just going to start building my crease with these 3 shades on the bottom and then see what kind of shimmer I want to use. Maybe I will use Alchemy or Calypso, but I'm just gonna start with this, and I think I'm just gonna start with this warm toned pink here. And I will zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm just gonna dip into Verve and I'm gonna build that up in the crease. I'm using stamping motions to really get the pigment down. I think this is such a beautiful color. It kind of reminds me of strawberries and that's why I really want to wear this in the summer. Just building it up, using small circular motions. This is absolutely stunning. I love this shade. Just taking a little bit more and just stamping that and using circular motions. This shade blends very easily. I'm just gonna do the same on the other eye, starting with stamping it. I just feel like this is the easiest technique with colorful mattes. And I'm just taking my time building that up, adding some more shadow and then using those small circular motions. I feel like this is looking quite good, quite blended and pigmented. Alright, now let's go into Fahrenheit. I never use bright red eyeshadow, so I'm really curious how this will go. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit and really add that to the outer corner. I'm just stamping it down and then blending it out. I don't think it's that much deeper than the first shade I laid down. They do blend together quite well. It definitely made this look more red and a bit more smoky, but I think if I would really want more depth, then maybe I would have to go into maybe a burgundy or something. But for this look, I'm just gonna stick to the Nabla singles. And also when I picked out these singles, I didn't think of a color story or something. I didn't think of a specific look or having every shade that is needed for a look. I just wanted the singles that spoke to me the most. So I just looked at the individual shades, and I'm planning to just combine them with palettes or with other single shadows that I own. This is looking quite cool and quite colorful. I think I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and go over the edges a little bit to blend that out a little bit more. Just to make the edges a little bit softer. I don't know if I've ever done a crease like this, but I think it looks quite cool. I'm thinking about what I should do next. I really want to use Alchemy. But I also kind of want to use this more pink one called Calypso. So maybe I will just apply Calypso first with my finger and then tap some of Alchemy on top. I just want to see what this shade will look like. That is absolutely stunning. That is just beautiful. And I feel like the purple is coming through a bit more on my eye. I do really love the combination of purple and red, but I don't wear it a lot. I'm just doing the same on the other eye. I just want to use a lot of shadow, play around with them a little bit and get a feel for them a bit more. I'm using a bit more different shadows than I usually would maybe. That purple is really beautiful. I really like this bright formula. That's why I also got a lot of those. So my doorbell just rang and I didn't know that anything was coming. I was like, what could it be? And then it was my Clionad's single eyeshadows. I've been waiting for them from the end of August. I think I ordered them at the end of August. And they're finally here, so I'm gonna film a video with them very soon. I'm so excited that they're finally here. So let's continue with the look. I think I'm just gonna add Alchemy over top to add that shimmer. And I'm just gonna see how that goes. So I'm just gonna apply that with my finger and add that on top of that purpley eyeshadow. Alchemy does have quite a pigmented base, especially in comparison with Alchemy 2.0. So it does take away some of that purple. You can really see those shimmers and that bluish shift. I think it looks really gorgeous. I would also love to pair this with purples in the crease or maybe even with blues. I think that would be really gorgeous. So I'm doing the same thing on the other eye, just applying it with my finger. I feel like that's the easiest technique with this type of shade. You can also use a glitter glue. I also really love using glitter glues with my shimmers. I'm still kind of shocked that my Clionad eyeshadows just arrived. It felt like they were never gonna come and now they're finally here. It feels like this mystical type of product. I also have very high expectations. So Alchemy is on, it's really shimmery and you can really see that shift. It's a really special shade. I do get why this is one of the most talked about Nabla single shadows. And I do get why they made a second version of this. So the look got a little bit more grungy. Alright, I think I'm just gonna add some of Lotus to my lower lash line. I always like taking a flat brush like this. I'm just adding that purpley pink to the lower lash line. Kind of smoking it out. I'm doing the same thing on the other eye. And then I think I'm just gonna add some of Verve also to the lower lash line to make that a little bit more smoky. And I'm kind of focusing this on the outer part and connecting that to what I did before. I don't want to make my under eyes too red, so that's why I'm using Verve to smoke this out. Alright, that is looking pretty good. I think now I'm just gonna add some of Water Dream to my inner corner, and after that I think I'm gonna finish up the look. Add a bit of smoky liner and also just apply mascara and the rest of my makeup. I feel like Water Dream is definitely one of the most textured ones. It's really shiny. And I'm just applying that with my pinky because I feel like that works the best. It does get everywhere, but I'm gonna clean that up in a little bit. So that's the eyeshadow for now, and I will be back with the finished look. So this is the final look. I really love how this eyeshadow turned out. I think the textured shades just look very pretty. It got a little bit more berry than I expected, but I don't really mind it. I think it's really nice. If you're planning to pick up any of these Nabla singles, then I would say check their website first. They have very good descriptions. They always have swatches, live swatches, and you can see what formula the eyeshadows are. Because they have a lot of different formulas and some look shiny but they're actually satin, so I would just say check the website. They have a lot of information there. If you want to see more content with these eyeshadows, maybe a bingo or maybe my favorites, then please let me know. My name is Marley and I love chatting about makeup, so if that sounds good to you, then please don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!